Hey everybody, you're here for the Canary Grind News Talk live stream pre-stream. Welcome, you've made it. See Dixie Parker over on YouTube, One Lassie Petunia on Twitch. Woo! Oh, Rumble's looking a little lonely over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and send out the text message alert. Nice little chunk of people signed up for the text message alert system recently. Thank you for doing that. I hope you're enjoying the service. And for those who don't know, we are constantly plagued by getting channels taken down or shadow banning or big tech companies just not sending out notifications when we go live, and people are very sad about it. So we have the Canary Grind text message alert system. If you'd like to receive a text message before every show, all you gotta do is text the word canary to 877-740-3226. That's canary to 877-740-3226. You'll get a text message from me before every show. That's right, I type it out all on my own, like a big boy. You can even text me back. Now, I can't respond to you because it's very expensive, but I will see your message. So go do that. I'm about to send out a text message right now. Here it goes. Send. Beep, boop, 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 beep, beep, beep. You know, there's been a number of people who claim that they signed up and they did not, they don't always receive a text message. We are looking into this, and if this is the case, let us know. We might have to end up changing services. You know, there's always a chance that the service itself is sort of blocking some percentage of what we send out. I mean, that's what Gmail does. That's what all email people do. So it makes sense that maybe the text message people do that too. There's a chance that it is your cell service provider who is blocking it. These are all just the things that happen that we have no control over. But we will be considering switching systems if it seems beneficial. So there you go. All right, folks, we're going to get the show started in exactly right now.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. See, there's only one thing to do crazier. The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. See, there's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonzalez. They discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Grind News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Grind News Talk. Today is December 11th, 2023, and we are live to tape on episode 697. And today, ALT-MEDiA Industrial Complex. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gons, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from Getting Cold, California, China-fied California, to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomenon. It's in the title. It's ALT-MEDiA Industrial Complex, but some people call it mammies.
Nobody calls it that.
We'll find out who does later, but yeah, I don't like mammies. I think ALT-MEDiA Industrial Complex is way more on point.
Yes, indeed. Most relevantly, because we're one of the first people to coin that term, saw it coming. But you will be surprised who is late to the game, folks. That's later on in the show. Let's go ahead and get in on the disclaimer there.
Disclaimer.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything here on the show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security.
We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
Let me give you that rundown.
Okay, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Yeah, we're starting off, folks, for a little hooray time for listeners who can hear Grind News Talk. This will come as no surprise, but lots of talk going on. Lots of big news with AJ, Elon, lots of, awakenings to the advertising industrial complex, the economic paradigm, the dark occult histories of PR, things like this. And man, oh man, we're glad they're coming to the party, but they're a little bit late. And then, of course, a little bit of David Icke for everybody there. Don't worry, you're going to love it. Then Flippy's going into business. Big Flippy news. Flippy proper, that is. No, this side Flippy where we're trying to connect AI or whatever to robotic arms. Flippy, the original robotic arm himself, taking a big step out into this big world. Then, big news on the cyber pandemic front. We'll be going through the threats, the news, the most important thing that happened over the weekend. Who knows? I don't know. Then I got a little bit of a breakdown on some social movements going on, specifically with the Gaza strike. Man, oh man, don't you just love it when people lock themselves down voluntarily? We know the elites do. Then at the end of the show, God willing, Nephilim update. But first, Guns, our first stories.
Our first stories, our lead stories? Yes, it has to do with Elon.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
He's back.
There he is.
He's back on X. AJ 2.0. Alex Jones, who, if you have been tracking with us for a few weeks, months, actually, this one only took a few weeks. So, and it was a pretty popular clip. So I think people remember it, even if you're new to the show. But Alex Jones was on, I believe this was with Russell Brand a few weeks ago. And we played the clip then. We're just going to play it now as a setup to what's happening today or this weekend.
But now he's transcended just being about positivity.
This is talking about Alex Jones talking about Trump, and he'll throw in Elon.
Into something messianic, which I mean, if you get a snapshot of Trump, he's a dark person, but also, look, if anybody can be the Antichrist, I don't think he's the Antichrist, but he's the type of person, also Elon Musk, I mean, there's some definite dark energy around Trump, and I know if I was ever controlled opposition, it was unwittingly being sucked into it. And I think the jury's out on Trump, but they are definitely scared of him.
All right, so I don't know if he broke
now,
the narrative there or what, but he started to talk a little bit about how Trump is the kind of guy that would be the Antichrist, and just dropping Elon Musk into the conversation there.
Yeah, I thought it was most interesting he mentioning that if he was ever controlled opposition, it was unwitting, which is an interesting thing.
It's an admission.
An interesting admission, but like also totally logical. I mean, that's been sort of part of the controlled opposition theories or whatever. We think that it's very possible that maybe most opposition is controlled opposition, just not getting a paycheck directly from the elites or whatever.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, they launder it somehow, some other way. There's probably some other ways. And you think back to the 2020s, and David Knight, who used to work at InfoWars, he was an anchor on InfoWars. He got fired a few weeks before January 6th, I believe. And he was calling out Alex like live on air, like, "Hey, you're walking into the PSYOP and the whole deal." And they fired him. And he's, some people say, "Oh, he's bitter and whatever." But and I don't know all the details of the relationship there between David Knight and Alex Jones, other than what David Knight has shared publicly. But it's interesting because during that time, do you remember Steve Pachesnik or something? Wasn't he always kind of being featured? And he's like in conversations with Alex on air, and it's like, who is this guy? And he was making all kinds of crazy claims. He was the guy talking about like quantum computing, voting system, all that stuff that got people riled up. So that type of situation may have been part of the unwitting, unknowingly participating in some kind of controlled opposition. But nevertheless, Alex was talking here a few weeks ago about this possibility of Elon Musk or Trump being the Antichrist, which is an interesting setup for what happened this weekend. So Huffington Post, because obviously the mainstream media has to attack this whole situation. Elon Musk hosts unhinged panel with Alex Jones after reinstating his X account.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something about bringing back the mercenaries under this new veneer of X that has sort of a second coming vibe to it. So,
I hear you. It's interesting that Elon resisted bringing Alex back for a very long time.
He did,
and it's like, I don't know. There wasn't quite a good explanation for it, but people have been calling for it for a while. I think it had something to do with Tucker Carlson.
Maybe.
Tucker did a show with AJ the other day, and it was actually kind of surprising in two ways. Number one, they sort of went pretty deep in on sort of the grand, like a wonderful overview of everything going on. But he also kept it extremely like poignant and short, which Alex Jones almost never does. He usually goes way off the deep end and gets stuck in sort of a rabbit hole, which we all
of course. You start creating or painting a scenario in the rabbit trail, and then all of a sudden it's considered. But
it was a very good, well-rounded sort of conversation. And in that conversation, there was the topic of like, well, why hasn't Elon brought you back? Well, I don't know. I love you, Elon. And then just like the day after. Or something.
Well, Elon ran a poll. I think there were millions of votes. And what's interesting though is it's like, wait a minute, shouldn't this whole thing of bringing Alex Jones back be on the premise of your free speech thing, not just some vote? I mean, I get he's trying to be democratic or whatever, but it seems logical. Yeah. But what is interesting? So there was a Twitter Spaces that occurred that had all these guys on the call together, and Elon went after Alex pretty hard. I don't know if it's hard, but he established the premise of, hey, talking about dead children is just wrong. You can't, it's messed up. You can't do that. Like, why would you do that? And then Alex did his whole explanation of what happened, and he was, it's something he said years ago, and the media picked it up years later, and the whole thing. But the Twitter X Spaces was interesting. It says here in the Huffington Post article, just hours after reinstating his X account, Elon Musk joined Alex Jones for a deeply questionable conversation on X Spaces on Sunday. The tech billionaire and InfoWars host were joined by Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek just finding his way into the pinnacle of alt-media.
Oh, he's been nailing it recently. He's back
there
on his game so hard.
Oh, he's right there. Okay, internet influencer and suspected human trafficker Andrew Tate, which is just fantastic. And an ensemble.
Interesting. They didn't call him, acquitted of charges.
Right. Yeah. No. Once you have that thing going, and an ensemble of other conservative personalities for a 3-hour audio stream, which was largely spent slathering Musk in praise. Quote: Elon Musk's courage has broken the backs of the globalists. Jones said on his return to X. Again, what happened to Elon might be the Antichrist? All of a sudden, 2 weeks later, he's breaking the backs of the globalists? Or is that the plan of the Antichrist, to break the backs of the globalists? Jones said of his return to X, a platform formerly known as Twitter, quote, they'll never be able to turn this around again unless they have a nuclear war. I don't like that setup. I don't like him putting that out there. This if this or this or that. There's only two ways. Either we win or we nuclear war. It's like,
this event was such a good example of something we've been talking about for a while, and we keep our eyes out for. And like part of our, broad message is like to be aware of this. That is the mainstreamification of alternative media, independent media. And when you see the sort of Goliaths of alt media all getting together on one big panel, you can actually see it visually. Like you can see the metaphor of what we're talking about is made manifest right in front of you. And suddenly you see, whether it's happening or not, you see how the elites of alt media can get together. They're all sitting at the same table. And if they made a decision together, they could sort of irrevocably alter the alt media landscape, whether that's, you had Alex Jones talking about controlled opposition on accident, perhaps. Well, if that panel suddenly all got word at the same time by the same source that whatever, let's just say, for example, nuclear war was beginning, the trickle down effect into the alt media beast machine or whatever would it would just be unstoppable. And so I don't know, it's just good to pay attention. And as a note to that, we just got the announcement that Tucker Carlson not only doing his own show now, incredibly popular show, but is starting his own network. Ooh, that's perfect. That's what we need. We need alternative independent media copying the model of mainstream media. Surely, surely they won't become victim to the same conflicting or corrupting effects that the original went through. It's just it's just
a couple weeks ago,
shaky to think about.
Iger and all these advertisers that were boycotting Elon and X to F off, that whole thing that got really popular. I think that was an indicator for there's enough economy happening apart from the legacy system now that they've siphoned enough cash away, or whatever, cash flow away from that stuff to be able to operate and become its own entity. It's kind of like a forked version of the old system, and that's exactly what Elon's doing. If you alternative to the system, but it's still all tied in because you got to get the banking licenses, and it's still the same thing. It just looks different. It looks shiny and new.
Yeah, the concerns about Elon are well founded and sort of not surprising, but the giant alt guys and sort of the danger of that. And again, I'm not even saying I am sure that it's bad and that corruption will happen. I'm just repeating the message that we have said for years, which is just make sure you are aware of who is pulling your dark, satanic, elite lizard people who are trying to pull your strings, but there very easily could be another sort of force attempting to do that as well. If ecosystem becomes, the higher the danger of that. And the alt-media industrial complex, especially as we see more and more and more, and those of you who have been listening that long ago, legacy corporate news media, those personalities striking it off on their own and creating an alt-independent media ecosphere, what the inflation of the agents of the mainstream, making it into independent media. And if they all come together and create some sort of board of truth for alt media, that's
the alt media industrial complex. We're watching it be formed, and it's under the challenging thing is they are speaking a lot of truth when it comes to exposing the legacy system. Here's Elon Musk on the call. This is the X space call. This is the X spaces. This is Mario Naufal. He's a guy that's been sort of touted as the king of spaces on X Twitter. And the spaces is called Live Alex Jones, Musk, Tate Brothers, Gates, Vivek, PBD, and Calacanis. I don't know who Calacanis is. PBD is I forget the guy's name. Very big podcast. These guys are all online. Jack Posibic's on there. They're all there. Here's Elon Musk talking about advertising.
To just elaborate on the public relations firms, PR firms, which really should be called propaganda firms, because that's literally, public relations is literally a propaganda word for propaganda. You can read the history of how public relations was developed.
Edward Bernays.
Correct. So the way that PR firms actually corrupt media is actually in a very significant way, is that journalists are paid very little PR firm and make a lot of money of the articles they've written in the past and their contacts at their publication. So there is actually a strong monetary incentive, very strong, for corruption of the traditional media.
Elon, I'm so glad you said that, because people don't understand that's how these work, and I'm just now learning about that. The PR firms.
Hold on. Alex Jones, the man who woke up the New World Order, the masses to the New World Order, is just learning about PR and propaganda?
Listen to me, Canary Cry listeners. Especially you old school folks, you can officially say that you knew the history of peon for years in the occult sort of history of PR firms and the singular reason of their existence, which is propaganda and mind control. And Alex Jones is just coming in contact with the history that we have been obsessed with. So if nothing else today, folks, you can put it in the book. You knew something before Alex Jones did.
You front ran Alex Jones with us.
The canary in the coal mine.
Okay, so here's more of that.
They're so powerful, they're full of intelligence agency, former people. So just like a general will sign off on some bad weapons system, then he retires and gets on the major board of the defense contractor for $5 million a year. It's a revolving door. And so that's why when these big PR firms snap and say jump, the media says how high, and you're absolutely, when it comes to fact checking, they're really one of the most nasty, deceptive groups out there.
Yeah, they're propaganda firms. It would just make a lot more sense if just think PR firm equals propaganda. PR equals propaganda. That is literally what it means. The public should really understand that public relations literally just means propaganda. PR firm means propaganda. And the PR firms have very strong control over the traditional media because that's where journalists go to retire.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's talking about how those publications, that's where the journalists go. They retire, they make a bunch of cash on it, and they don't have to work anymore. But, the model is broken, so to speak. And
Right.
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's been broken. A lot of the legacy system is broken, especially as the rise of tech has general. It's,
It would be that full scale, set and PR and advertising and ancient wisdom that is PR firms. And just tag Alex Jones in it. Just see if he'll take a look.
Oh yeah, we could start tagging. That'll be a trip to have Alex Jones on. Okay, so we are sort of playing the skeptic, right, in terms of all of this. And look, I think there's some good things, obviously, to get popular enough movement where people are just buying in because it's popular, or spinning out, people say, these influencer types say because it's cool to say and it kind of makes sense on a cultural level. But there are skeptics, or at least people trying to be critical. One of them is David Icke, Mr. New Age David Icke, former murderer, made some documentaries, famous for declaring that we are run by reptilian overlords, race of aliens or whatever. And he had this whole rant on X. I won't read the whole thing, but he's referencing to God Elon's pronouncement on X. And as I have been writing here, the poll and waiting for God Elon's pronouncement has all been a game to hijack your perception and that of the mainstream alternative media. Ma'am, M-A-M. You're being had, people, but most will never get that. They only see what is in front of their eyes, not what is weaved through what they think they see. And then he goes on and talks about Tucker Carlson and lists the point, Basil, the Wilson, Rogan, Tate, Peterson, Brand, Vladimir Broke.
The Illuminati. Yeah.
He calls them M-A-M-M-I-E-S.
That one.
My language, but also maybe go check out it's David Icke station over here. But that's it. That's really all I had there for the Alex Jones thing. I mean, we can talk about all the ways this is great. You're going to hear that from a lot of different platforms and ALT-MEDiA. What is that
version of
whatever
independent media? Now, I think independent media
is.
I don't know how. I can't give you a definition right now, but they pretty much all of them still advertise. They still work with. You got Alex Jones talking about how PR and advertising is this big evil thing. Like, okay, glad you caught up, but for advertising. And I think, not just of the media, whether it's corporately sponsored or not. Right. That's, I think that's a big part of the ALT-MEDiA sort of definition or idea that a lot of people have missed for a long time, except for our people, of course. And I think the conversation now really should focus on ALT-MEDiA versus independent media. Just because something is alternative doesn't make it better. It just means it's a different choice. Mainstream versus all still being funded by the same apparatus. How alternative could it possibly be at its deepest sort of intent and
under the hood
and consequences?
Yeah,
if you still have the occult PR-based advertising mind control system at the heart of ALT-MEDiA, I don't think it goes far enough, and it needs to be independent.
Well, to wrap things up here, let's be reminded.
Dr. Pepper, the doctor's going to pep you. It was the first drink with cocaine. Coke came along after, but it was invented right here in Texas, in Temple. My family was involved in it, strangely enough.
There's always that. And
strangely enough. He's already admitted to maybe unwittingly being a controlled opposition.
Yeah.
They've been creating animal-human hybrids for decades.
Yeah, agree with that one. I think it's been centuries there, Alex. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff for good for people to wake up, but also, hey, maybe you need to wake up from the waking up, and it doesn't mean going back to sleep. It's all inception, all the way down.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, let's keep the ball rolling here. It's the beginning of the week. It's very exciting. It's Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the moon.
It's Monday. A little bit of a bummer today, Gons. You know how you were having trouble with Rumble beforehand.
Yeah.
Seems like everybody's having trouble with Rumble. Lots of folks saying that Rumble is just not working for them today.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. That are having some issues, but also timing wise, interesting. There's a big cyber pandemic going on. Allegedly, China's attacking us. We'll get to that story in a minute.
Yeah. Well, I wish I would have known that, because then I would have texted a different link to the text message alert.
Oh yeah,
is that right? What?
No, go ahead. Continue. I'm just.
Well, I was thinking, I don't know. Do I need to send out another text today with a link to, like, I don't know, the YouTube or a different outlet? But texting hundreds of people is very expensive, so I don't know what to do. But if you're out there, you're watching live, go tell people. Go to wherever. Go to the Discord. Go to social media or something, please. That would help out. I mean, that's hey, that's producing. Go do it, producers. Thank you. If you do it, send me a link to it. I will give you a shout out.
Yep.
Okay. Well, anything of interest to let the people know?
No, I say we keep moving as much as possible today. Yeah.
Some progress, some baby steps towards locking in the babysitter situation.
There is some progress. Still in the talks phase, but there's some possibilities that making progress. I'll just say that. It's actually
okay. So there is a very special thing you can do. There's two very special things going on right now. Number one, you can sign up. That's right. Until further notice, all supply drops sign the babysitting mission. It's not every day that we get to know exactly what our generous funding of a show or whatever goes to, but we're telling you, go to canarycrybabysittersclub.com. Donation is there. Every supply drop pays for basic. That is our charge. Everything that goes to show. So when you do that.
Yep.
And so along with that, I will say we had Clarence P. Thank you very much, Clarence, for committing to helping us out with an hour of babysitting per month. We really appreciate that, and you'll be receiving the supply drop as a the Canary Cry calendar will become available to each executive producer, and if they do it multiple times, they'll have the option to pay it forward or something like that. But remember that usually there is no way to get the Canary Cry calendar. We are not retailers. Though it is our favorite thing to do for people who are committed to keeping this show going. And for 1 month only, if you are an executive producer of the show, you will have the option to receive the Canary Cry calendar. This is a treasured, I was corrected. This is the art and days of the month are just jam-packed. History of secret societies or I don't know, important
Justin
historical
Trudeau's
dates.
birthday, Christmas Day. Up opening presents and save one for Justin.
Yeah, and actually, the 24th, Christmas Eve, is Daddy Fauci's birthday.
That's right.
Anthony
Yes.
Fauci's birthday.
This is a host a party.
Let's see, what's today? The 11th.
Yeah.
According to the Canary Cry calendar, on the 11th of December, 1914, Roald Anderson becomes first man to reach the South Pole. Ooh, Antarctica dates. Look at that.
Yep.
On the 13th, which will be, whoa. Oh, sorry.
This is from last year. This is last year.
I'm looking at next year.
Or next year, I mean.
1949, the 13th of December, Mossad was formed.
Yeah.
And also important dates to this show, like December 8th, the ye old Basil Podcasterson Day.
Oh, that was last
Very
Friday, I
important.
guess.
Yeah, we missed it.
Yeah, I missed it.
Painting for your daily Canary Cry-ness. But it's also got a scripture on each thing. It's got a quote from the show on each page. And it's just awesome. So anyways, we have nothing to do with this. This is entirely producer produced in order to both thank producers of the show and encourage producers to produce a show. All Supply Drop and Babysitter Club members will be getting it. But if you executive produce, if you don't want to join monthly support and you want to get your hands on the calendar, you can executive produce the show and have it. There will be some sort of pass it forward program that we are working on. So if it's impossible for you to executive produce and you just want to get on the list to maybe receive one, you can email us about that. We can't make any guarantees because that's up to the executive producer. But anyways, there you go. You can we can't make any guarantees because that's up to the executive producer. But anyways, there you go. You can executive produce your show, and we have a couple executive producers today we want to thank.
Executive producers.
That's right. The value for value model. We take no money from corporations, companies, or cartels. Truly independent media here, folks.
Independent, not alternative. Yeah, maybe that should become our hashtag.
Yeah, and indeed, executive producers. Producers are people who realize value for value. They get a lot of value out of the show, and they put a lot of value back in. And we thank them here at the top for $100 or more per with the one, the only,
hold on, Sir LX Protocol V2. Night, the Brain Protocol.
Indeed. And 242 episodes altogether, but 38 executive producership streak.
Oh, yeah, streakalicious.
Incredible. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alex Protocol.
Any notes?
We'll get in contact. We've got some talking to do.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Next up, we've got executive producer Susan M.
Susan M. Thank you so much.
That's right. Just getting on the calendar situation. Comes in with $111. $111.11.
Plus 100.
Yeah, exactly. That means guns.
She want
Look at that. I love it. First time producer coming in as an exec, making up for last time. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Keeps going on. Discovered you guys during pandemic. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Love your show. I'm an unvaxxed RN.
Ooh.
Seeing effects of bioweapon shot patients and coworkers.
Wow.
Thanks for telling the truth about everything. God bless. Wow, what a very special message to receive. That's like the most stressful thing to be over the past few years.
Yeah, that is almost impressive. I mean, how did you even pull that off? You know?
True hero.
Yeah, that must
True
be.
hero.
That must have been tough especially her flip flop on certain things over time.
Yeah,
keep her job.
Yeah.
So
a lot of influences going on there. Thank you very much, national hero, executive producer Susan.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Susan.
Mm-hmm. It's a short list today, so let's just run whatever manner was possible for them. Remember, nobody should feel pressured to put themselves at financial risk or give if they can't afford anything. There's a lot of ways to produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. But that's what makes these producers even more special to us. Starting with producer Ed B.
Ed B, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. Comes in with a nice round number, so we won't disclose that. We thank you very much, producer Ed B. Next up, we've got producer Tracy W.
Thank you, Tracy W.
Tracy W came in for 1111.
1111.
Whoa.
Sorry, that was not supposed to happen. Let me try that one more time. 1111.
Tracy says, trying to catch up on the catalog of news talks. That's a
feat. Yeah.
Feat. Yeah. I wish I. My goodness, can you imagine listening to our code content CCR? It makes me want to scream credence, as in credence or whatever Bible. I know that has haunted us since. Thank you very much.
The Lord blinded our memory and told us to go with it.
Thank you very much, producer Tracy.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, Palmer C is back. Gons, you'll want to get a jingle ready. Thanks for being awesome. Please play my favorite jingle, the Sir Dove one.
There you go.
Excellent jingle.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Palmer C, glad to have you back.
Yeah,
Palmer C,
good to see you. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the list of financial producers who have supported this show in the amount of $7.77 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We have some producers who came in under that amount, keeping their streaks going, and we'll thank them with name and streak. Starting with Dr. Who Dunda, 36 in a row.
Thank you, Dr. Who Dunda.
Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots, 309 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Moore.
Veronica D, 339 in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Dame Gale, 332 in a row.
Thank you, Dame Gale.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 363.
Sir Casey, the night.
378 in a row.
378.
Thank you all. Thank you all to our financial producers. You know what? The world as it is, Paul even took the energy to click the buttons to support this show is unspeakably honorable in our eyes, and we appreciate that very much. And let that be inspiration to anybody who gets value from this show. You can put value back in. It's the only way we exist. Value for value. Independent media. And if you want the show to continue, it's very simple. We can only continue with the participation of the producers with their time, their talent, or their treasure. Lots of ways to do it. Go to Canary Cry.
Yeah.
Bummer, man.
Excuse me.
We got a baby. He's coming in. If you're okay, I think it's time you can hit that flippy button and steal with your children. He's gone.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Yeah, today is robot arms who are taking our jobs and slaving our children and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from prnewswire.com, straight from the horse's mouth. World's first fully autonomous AI-powered restaurant opening in Southern California. Bet you thought that would say China or Korea or something. Nope, Southern California. And this is coming straight from the air to the Flippy update throne. And here it goes. Pasadena, California. Cali Group, a holding company using technology to transform the restaurant and retail industries. Miso Robotics, creator of Flippy, the world's first AI-powered robotic fry station. And Pop ID, a technology company simplifying ordering using biometrics, announced today that they are soon opening Cali Express by Flippy. Cali Express by Flippy. I love more than anything that they put Flippy's name in there. Flippy. For honestly, I'm almost certain Flippy is the fact that they are using the fame of no other show, no other blog, no other account has been appreciating Flippy, the one and only. The sort of PR decision. And if we had no other effect on the world, at least we had that. Cali Express by Flippy, the world's first fully autonomous restaurant utilizing the most advanced systems in food technology. Both grill and fry stations are fully automated. That's us, folks. We'll watch their food being cooked robotically after checking in with their Pop ID accounts on self-ordering kiosks to get personalized order recommendations. Oh, and make easy and fast payments. Woo! The new Cali Express by Flippy restaurant is located in Pasadena. There's more about it. All right, for customers. Listen up, customers. Transforming food quality for consumers and transforming a workplace for restaurant employees. Deliver freshly made burgers based on a Wagyu blend at price points competitive with other premium burgers using standard meat. Uniquely, the grill robot grinds the high-quality beef in real time, and this is in bold letters, after the order is placed. Take that, humans. No humans can keep up with that.
The next level of this, the sort of alt crowd.
Like the lobsters. Like the lobsters at Red Lobster.
Exactly. Same thing. But, the good ones, you'll be on a big farm. They'll be grazing.
Yeah, you'll see a TV screen of a bunch of cows in a big green field, and you'll pick it out. But, of course, that's not true. The cow is in some sort of scary prison. Yeah. Not only does after you order, it grinds the meat after you order, which is pretty incredible. Flippy, the famous robotic fry station. You're welcome, Flippy. For
famous.
Making you
I was going to say famous because of shows like ours. Apparently.
Definitely, there's some intern or marketing to do their marketing who is listening to this. Right, guys gave me some inside scoops. Look, I don't even want money. I just want
go up to Pasadena and do a little episode. The whole thing.
Yeah, when it's open, we will definitely do some boots on the ground. Yeah. Maybe a meetup.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be except we might not be allowed to eat.
Pop ID is a big part. And then they give the normal things like the amount of employees is so much lower. I mean, it's robotic ordering, robotic grinding, robotic. Everything is robotic. So when they say, that it will be the engineer who turns
tablet to make sure that everything is running and operational.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the guy. Yeah.
So let's see here. We just real quick, Wagyu burgers for the price of traditional burgers. Book now. You gotta go in by reservation. They are. Well, I'll get into it in a second. The next little section down on the website, robot made burgers and fries, talks about the whole thing. The image next to this says, "Eat the future."
Eat the future. Yes.
Eat the future. Now I'm convinced that they're listening
on some app. Flippy update.
Almost positive I've said eat the future. And it's so stupid that it would be something that I would say at a Flippy update. Like that is very on brand for Basil's Flippy update. Eat the future. So they're having fun with it. Yeah. That's what we do here. You got to make reservations, which is very interesting. I want to go back to the newswire real quick because there's some interesting details. The Cali Express by Flippy location will also be a pseudo museum experience presented by Miso Robotics.
Pseudo museum. Okay.
Pseudo museum experience, including dancing rotated artifacts from past development.
The pseudo museum.
The space is designed to serve noteworthy food, plus inspire the next generation of kitchen AI and automation entrepreneurs. Local schools and educational groups are encouraged to reach out for tours. Hey, I'm thinking Canary Cry Meetup in Pasadena. We'll sign up for a tour. I'm very serious. If there's Southern California producers listening right now, email us, canarycryradio@gmail.com. We need help to do this. So send us an email if you are near or around Pasadena. Tell us who you are, and you can be on the ground floor of helping us put an official Canary Cry Meetup together to go to the pseudo museum experience that is Cali Express by. Oh, for sure. We will make a Flippy fan shirt.
We'll be so confused. Oh, these Flippy fans, they'll do a straw man too. The fans of Flippy showed up in droves.
Exactly. We would be the news. We would be the news. I'm telling you, fans wearing this shirt. I'm in my VR goggles with the googly eyes. We would be on the news. If not, like, the news shows up just because we're weird. But Miso would be forced.
Oh, they would be forced to answer questions.
I'm telling you, this is the genius of the Flippy update. I should call it Flippy Update by Basil because then we can really get in there. Send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com if you want to get involved, both, of course, in attending the event, but also helping us plan it and do stuff like that.
What's the date of opening? Is there
Let's see here.
Open December, so it's sometime this month.
I think it's this month. Yeah, Cali Express by Flippy will open in December 2023 by reservation only, with the grand opening to follow. You know, we could show up on the grand opening.
Yeah, that might be
that might be the thing. I mean, we should do. Here's what we deserve a tour. Man, this month, seriously, we got to get going on this.
Yeah, that's real
even
tight.
Possible. But if we went in with our shirts for the reservation only, that's when we meet. That's when we make an impression. We get a tour. The biggest fans. You do not miss this opportunity. Interview us. Do the whole thing. The biggest opportunity we could ever have.
But in this case, if it is a marketing opportunity for us,
free marketing.
It's free marketing.
Okay, one last thing. One last thing.
Sure.
Pop ID.
Okay. Yes. Pop
What
ID.
is this? You have this might throw a wrench in our
whole thing.
Yeah. Press by Flippy to see if we can figure out a way around this. But Pop ID. With Pop ID, your face is your ID. Oh, simplify ordering, payment, entry, and more. Always user controlled. Pop ID is kind of security. Well, in this case, Pop ID scan your face. You've got your credit card attached to it. You can spend money by getting your face scanned. And boo.
This sounds like it looks way more tame. Maybe that's the point.
So here's what if you want.
We'll just it's probably not open source. We'll clone it and call it poop.
But also it might be a good opportunity for us to test out some of our face recognition scrambling face jewelry. It's coming soon
on, and they're like, hey, we need to do your scan, and kind of shake your googly eyes.
This is me, baby.
And they go, no, like you realize, and he goes, yeah, these are my real eyes. And just the people being very confused.
I'm putting it on my to-do list. Contact Flippy about Pop ID.
By the way, MISO Robotics, just to point out, because I like to do it every so often when we bring up MISO Robotics, military information support operations. There's an actual military group. Yeah, military information support operations.
This is why it's perfect for us to be sort of their official fan group.
Yeah, we understand the origins.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's been your Flippy update by Basil.
This might be the biggest one if we
it's a big
pull it
deal.
off. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to some cyber pandemic.
The COVID-19 crisis would be seen as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber pandemic.
I have to say it real quick.
Sure.
Psalm 40 in the chat says press badges might bypass the facial recognition requirement. We get press badges. We have gone to events, and because of the podcast, we can get press badges. We don't do it often, but we've done it before. It's possible.
It's possible. Okay, Washington Post published an article, and I have a clip from Fox talking about it here. WAPO published this morning, headline, China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services. A utility in Hawaii, a West Coast port, and a pipeline are among the victims in the past year, officials say. Chinese military is ramping up its ability to disrupt key American infrastructure, according to U.S. officials and industry security officials. Hackers affiliated with China's People's Liberation Army have burrowed into the computer systems of about 24 critical entities over the past year, the experts said. Of course, over the past year, because, similar to Jan 6, I'm sure the Feds just opened the gates wide open for these guys to just come in, and that's been the case for many years. But, it's interesting that the fear of the cyber warfare is palpable. It's starting to become more of a talking point. This is Fox News.
This is not good.
No, it's not. I mean, this infiltration appears to be part of a broader effort to insert chaos into our logistical systems. The information collected could then be weaponized if the U.S. and China were to become engaged directly in the Pacific. According to reporting from the Washington Post, citing multiple U.S. and industry security officials, China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services, like an attempt to West Coast port and at least one oil and gas pipeline, according to that report you're seeing there. Brandon Wells, executive director of the Department of Homeland Security Cybersecurity Agency, told the Washington Post this, quote, themselves to be able to disrupt or destroy conflict, either prevent the United States from decision-making around a crisis. The computer systems of about 24 critical entities.
24 critical entities. Already.
Decision-making in a crisis. That's fifth generation warfare. Our decisions during a crisis, that is psychological warfare.
Fifth generation warfare, the battle for the minds of the population, a war of narratives.
Yeah, it's not too surprising here. But I thought that the report coming from WAPO was interesting, the timing of it all, because there's a show out, or I guess it's a movie. It's called Leave the World Behind. And this is an article from USA Today. Headline, Leave the World Behind director says Julia Roberts pulled off something insane. Oh, Julia Roberts still in the acting game. In most disaster movies, the disaster is the star. Hurricane, tsunami, megalodon, Godzilla. By the way, have you seen the Godzilla X Kong trailer?
No.
Oh my gosh. Nephilim are here. Not so in Leave the World Behind. Now on Netflix, director Sam Ismail, Mr. Robot, tense reworking of Rumaan Alam's 2020 bestseller by the same name. Here, the disaster is never well defined, though its effects from Wi-Fi outages to deer infestation to beached cargo ships stir up mounting levels of paranoia in a vacationing couple, Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts. Their teens, Charlie Evans and Farrah McKenzie, various duo actors who appear in their home's doorway. Quote, it's a disaster movie that reorients you away from the disaster and towards the disintegration of these 6 characters, says Ismail. Quote, in some ways, it betrays the genre, but that made me more excited about doing it. Okay, so who's telling him to do this? Ismail spoke to USA Today about reworking elements of the book to fit his film. Robert, first place for Amanda from President Barack Obama, who helped back the film through his and Michelle Obama's production company, Hot Ground. So this is like an Obama narrative being battled in this documentary, this cyber pandemic movie. So it says here the biggest difference between the film and the book version, and then they get into some detail. We don't have to get into the details, but I do want to mention that we had a producer Caleb. We'll thank him for some other art that he sent in for today, but he did send in a clip from this movie, and here it is now.
A simple 3-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government from within. The first stage was isolation, disable their communication and transportation, make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible, setting them up for the second stage, synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and disinformation, overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving them with systems multiple their own military, a clear enemy or motive. People would start turning on each other. Done successfully, the third stage would happen on its own. A coup d'etat, civil war, collapse. This program was considered the most cost-effective way to destabilize a country because if the target nation was dysfunctional enough, it would, in essence, do the work for you.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There. Okay, well, can you grab it? And okay, I gotta get some juice. I'll be right back.
Okay. Gotta get some juice for the babies. Go on and go to CanaryCrowBabysittersClub.com. Leave the World Behind. I thought I had this advertised to me. I'm not exactly sure if it's out or not right now, but we've seen more and more of these ideas coming out. Not just, the ideas expressing themselves in content, making it into the public mind faster and faster. It's really the turnover time that surprises me quite a bit.
Yeah.
And of course, you can harken back to,
Yeah. And so you talk about predictive programming, all that stuff. I mean, it's before it was probably a longer process to get some kind of idea out and just take a chunk out of his memoir agenda or something, just apply it into this thing. He can pretty much either set himself up as the guy to save from it or what, some policies to do it or what. But this got me curious. What's Obama doing with all this stuff? I dug around a little bit. I didn't do too much, but I did find this article from the World Economic Forum, June 10th, 2021. These are Barack Obama's latest reading recommendations. And look, they're not that interesting. I mean, it's some race books. He also mentioned Twain, the old writings, and then his sort of transformation into a more champion for civil rights kind of guy later in his life or whatever. So interesting to consider. Now, at the end of this, there was something that struck me because I didn't know this was a thing, and maybe we can join it, Basil. If you're looking for more reading recommendations, join the World Economic Forum's book collection, discussing a book chapter by chapter with Klaus and all his friends. You should try to join this thing. Yeah, so I went to the Facebook here. There's 189,000 people in this group. So, it's probably not for us. But some of the books that are part of this header here, The Value of Everything. You have Yuval Noah Harari, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. You know Yuval Noah Harari, right, Basil? The guy who says that
anti-humanist.
Yeah,
transhuman. Wants the robots to take over.
New Power by Jeremy Hyman and Henry Timms. New Power, okay. Leonardo da Vinci. The Future's Asian. Better watch out. The cyber pandemic. Predictive programming is all well and good. They are probably getting ready to roll it out at some point. And I also refer everybody back to last episode where we talked about DISA, D-I-S-A, and all their electromagnetic battlefield technology that they're rolling out to the military, because I think it has something to do with this whole notion of, hey, the Chinese cyber army, they're really getting into the nooks and crannies. And if we're going to fight back, we're going to need to see every little bit and byte that's going on around us to effectively fight this war. And that includes everything in the electromagnetic spectrum. So it seems like a big setup for me, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we've already gotten the hint that 2027 is sort of the expectation of real conflict with China.
Sure.
And so it makes me kind of wonder what this is. Is it just sort of a practice run? Is it, what could have possibly been achieved by this, except for some sort of terrorism, cyber terrorism, to sort of put fear into the American people about how China can reach out and mess with them easy as pie.
Yeah, and the whole China thing is very interesting to me because, again, as we've reported on for so many years, yes, there is sort of a Cold War taking place with the U.S. and China on various fronts, economically, corporate stuff, private type of stuff, technology stuff, which includes the Taiwan conversation. But also, there's a lot of cooperation. AI research taking place across it. The same thing with COVID. That was the exact same thing. Funding going from the NIH to labs in Wuhan. So it's not always as it seems, and the whole war with China narrative will be interesting to continue to watch because that war actually is not so easy to fund because it's directly with the U.S. It's not like a proxy nation having a problem, right? And sending in money. It's like, no, this is like home turf that we've probably ignored for way too long. So
it's been interesting in recent weeks to see CISA to be showing up in the news more and more as sort of a, CISA is the regulatory body. It may be federal. I'm not exactly sure. But in recent weeks, it's this story and that story, and all the quotes are from CISA leaders. When previously, for the not very publicly known office that all hacker people knew about, but the regular public kind of had no context for. Anywho, yeah, very interesting. Well, I think we'll see it continue to ramp up.
Yeah, CISA is technically a government.
Well, this is stuff they pretty clearly see is relevant to the Taiwan scenario. Though they don't explicitly say this is how we're going to take over Taiwan.
That's thing.
Yeah, sure. There you go. This is coming from Time Magazine. Some of you may have seen this trending on Twitter. The headline is "People around the world go on strike for a ceasefire in Gaza." Woke up today and there was a bunch of talk about a strike going on today. I hadn't heard of it before. Maybe other people did. It says, in the aftermath of UN failing to pass a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, which was interesting, the U.S. vetoed the vote to call for a ceasefire. Good job, U.S. How, I mean, it's what they do.
Keep shooting. But I thought guns were no, keep shooting. We got to kill the bad guys.
Yes, the U.S. obviously has an interest in this, keeping on. Palestinian activists and social media influencers are calling for a global strike on Monday, December 11th. The Palestinian National and Islamic Forces issued a call for the strike to include all aspects of public life for those across the West Bank and the world. Quote, we expect the entire globe to join the strike, which comes as a broad international movement involving influential figures. This movement stands against the open genocide in Gaza, the ethnic cleansing, and the colonial settlement in the West Bank, the coalition said in a statement. Well, I saw this popping up on the Twitter. Did I put a link to the Twitter? Yes, I did. Here it is, to the sort of trending topic. And I was like, what is this? What's going on? What are people doing? It's hashtag global strike. It also has some other versions. But if you need instructions on what to do, there's lots of people posting about them. Monday, December 11th, don't go anywhere. Don't buy anything. Don't go to work. Don't send your kids to school. Don't open your shops. Does that sound familiar to you at all, Gons?
Lockdown.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like pandemic lockdowns. And of course, on a related note, talking about climate lockdowns, there's this campaign for voluntary lockdowns with a moral imperative. If moral and good person right now, you will stay in your house, you won't buy anything, you don't go to work, you don't send your kids to school, you don't even open your shops. But instead of sort of government mandated lockdown, this is a very well executed psyop to make people who just wish so desperately that they were in the moral majority lock themselves down. Similar to kind of the idea, but I think this is the transitionary idea between pandemic lockdowns, sort of forced, and climate lockdowns, which are still forced, but also, you're trying to convince people that it's the moral and right thing to do. Yeah. And this included like, don't use your bank, don't go outside your house. I mean, it literally was just describing lockdowns. And if you're a good person, and if you don't want babies to die, then you stay in your house, you lock yourself down. Very powerful sort of psychological operation to normalize the lockdown idea, but also normalize wanting to lock down, normalizing, feeling like a better person than everyone else because you chose to lock yourself down. There's no government that forced you to do it. We're the good people. We locked down because of something happening across the world. Interestingly enough, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I was going to say that the during the actual pandemic, the pushing back against the system was opening and doing all those things, right? And that was sort of the rebellious thing to do. And in this instance, they are flipping it in a sense and saying, okay,
social. It's anti-social, not lockdown.
Right.
And let's see here. Yeah. Oh, I had a point. Forgot what it But interesting, if you look at another aspect of this, you look at the hashtags that are being used. One of them is hashtag global strike, hashtag Gaza strike, hashtag strike for Gaza, hashtag, this use of strike in context of all this, of this area of the world, and this event.
Yeah, like actual strikes.
Yeah, like
rocket
missile strike.
Missile strikes,
It could be missile strike or whatever.
It's a brilliant
strikes Gaza.
A brilliant wordplay. It is just right down the middle. There's the target.
I think there's some SEO going on here. This could, it could, I don't have any evidence right now of it, but this could be a very well executed campaign to hide some other news. There was some sort of strike, maybe even Israel trying to hide, a big strike that they did over the weekend, or maybe Gaza, Hamas was striking something militarily. A great way to hide that news, to control the information, would be to completely muddy the waters and overtake that news with your lockdown, your voluntary.
And also, in terms of the geopolitical conflict there, and we've been meaning to talk more about the ports and all that kind of stuff going on in Gaza. China would benefit their Silk Road project if the whole lockdown and the whole suggestion sounds familiar in that it has that sort of Chinese flavor, especially in light of the Chinese are attacking all of our cyber stuff. Well, the news comes out today that all the cyber stuff is happening from China. It's the same day they want all these people to not go online.
Yeah. And, fifth generation warfare, you can connect it to almost everything we talk about on this show. But in the context of the fifth generation warfare, we read it earlier in the show about how, controlling the way people react to a disaster or a situation, sort of, and also get used to applies. A big part of this lockdown was like strike with, because they can't buy anything else. One account said I decided to extend my global strike to be 4 weeks starting on the 11th, and then took a picture. We look at maybe by today's economy about $100 worth of groceries. It's not a lot. He shows his stacks of coins.
Trying not to show these horrific images I usually see these timelines. So apologies for that. I hate that. I hate seeing that stuff.
His car has about a half a gallon of gas. He has some propane tanks, and he's like, "Oh, this is all I have. I hope I can do it. This is the most important thing I've ever done. Here's what I'm going to use to survive my 4-week strike." I'm assuming this person's going to be opening a GoFundMe or something. I don't know.
He's going to get a pop ID to employ his robot arm to help him cook.
Yeah. So the psyops are strong across the board today, from Alex Jones to the Gaza strike and everything in between. But
who can we trust, Basil? There's no one we can trust anymore. It's all hopeless.
You can trust. Yeah. It's important. I think Alex Jones made a good point, which is I think it's important for everybody to think about. Okay, am I controlled opposition unwittingly? Am I, what are my sources? Who's controlling me? Who's telling me? I think it's important that every podcaster or every, YouTuber or whatever, stop and really think really hard. Like, okay, am I being used by someone and they're taking money from an organization or, advertisers? We've seen advertisers are the control mechanism for things online like Twitter, et cetera.
I heard also, I haven't looked into it, I don't know, but it kind of makes sense a little bit, is that the Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson bandwagon exploded in the last couple months. Like they lost a lot of viewership. And so they need sort of the quasi-Israel support group to rise again. And perhaps they're trying to do that with Alex Jones, because he's talked about Mossad and stuff, and he's done that plenty of times, but there is that criticism out there that he just won't criticize. Just another possible angle to all this stuff. It's very confusing. It's meant to confuse you. It's meant to confuse you and tire you out. And that's why we're here to be tired for you.
Yeah, that's right. And we thank all of our producers who realize what's going on here and participate in the value for value model to keep us truly independent. We thanked some of our producers earlier, and now we're going to thank some of our creative, very talented producers.
Yes. I was just thinking as well, just briefly, you talked about the indie versus alt, and I thought, what example do we have? Well, we have indie music or indie rock and alt rock. I thought it was a great example. So I looked up a couple things. I thought this was interesting. A couple different descriptions, the difference between indie and alt. Indie rock is characterized by a lo-fi production quality and a more stripped down sound compared to alternative rock. Both, however, alternative and indie rock are known for their rejection of mainstream values and their focus on artistic expression and experimentation. So that kind of makes sense. We're both against the system, but one is a little more polished
rock, especially if you lived through the era where alt rock was like the big, huge thing. It's like alt rock didn't mean that it was independent. No, alt rock was being created by the biggest, most powerful record companies, and they're getting platinum records left and right because they had the machine behind them. Indie rock, however, while has had popular times, has not traditionally had the power of the machine behind it.
Yep. And I think it's a great example economically if you look at what's taking place. So, okay, we want to thank our producers coming in with their talent. It helps us build the culture behind the community here. And we're going to kick it off actually with a couple speak pipes to catch up on.
your message.
Leave a message.
Message.
Go to CanaryCryNewsTalk.com, look for a green tab. What is it? 90 seconds. And so for us, if it's a private message, please tell. Okay, we are going to kick it off with Rochelle. And she gave us a two-parter. Let's see if I do this in the right order.
Happy Friday, Canarians.
Oh yeah, we're catching up from Friday.
Held in fornication, lead up by more transgression. Still he proves himself not a salvation. Issue. There was one thing I can disprove out of believing that I have no moral control. Why discern the discernible? The creator of all creation has explained, affirmed everyone. Stay strong for Jesus. Has explained of nation with the stars and the moon allowed, the wandering stars through the heavens vent. He puts his marker on the land and sea. He put his mark all over me. Remember that day when he stopped the sun, so the war he waged could be won. He separates the day from the night, not through the cosmos, but through his light. There was this one thing I can disprove this so-called king. There was this one thing gonna get me out of believing that I have no moral control. Why discern the discernible? Well, in case you're wondering, that is about biblical creation. It is true. Stay strong for Jesus.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, good stuff. I do have a message here from Sir Ike. I don't know if it's outdated though. It is from last episode. Should I go ahead and play that, Basil? Do you know?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Hey, Canary family, Sir Ike here. I wanted to give everybody an update on the Q4 supply drop. We are about to wrap up production on that, and I'm hoping to start shipping here in about a week and a half. Just an announcement. If you're an international producer, the way I can get shipping arranged for sure you get that and get back to me, I would really appreciate it. Also, I wanted to give everybody a reminder that in January 9th, I will be hosting the Missouri meetup in Jefferson City at the Capitol building. If you want more information on that, give me an email to canarycrysupply@gmail.com and I will get you more information. Thanks.
Okay, we got to get all that info about the Missouri meetup. I know for a fact we've got a number of Missourians, Missouri people, those ones that want to go to that. So we'll get those details, put it on canarycrymeetups.com.
I've been trying to get. He's been sending us updates to the 12 days of Christmas. You know,
on this, the 11th day of Christmas.
Hold on.
11 bureaus investigating.
Yes.
10.
So we talked about this.
We
should be doing him in the order that he sent them. Is that
6, 8, and now it's 11? So I don't know if it's even if it's done by sequence. It's not exactly.
Okay, this is not ready. I think.
Yeah, I had this thing. Well, the only reason is because it repeats. You know.
Okay. All right. We'll just say the one you got.
Now I'm in print here. On this, the 11th day of Christmas, my normie gave to me 11 bureaus investigating, 10 sorcerers outsourcing, 9 Babylons burning, 8 podfathers casting, age fighting, 4 bitcoins mining, 3 brains a washing, 2 Bidens bumbling, and a flippy to prune my pear tree.
I like it.
That is very good.
I love it. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Printing. Okay, now we're going to thank some people coming in with some different parts of talent, starting with art. No, I'm sorry, music, audio production. Get there. Audio production. From SpeakPipe. Wait, hold on. Is that from? No, I think that's fine. No, what episode is this? 96.
I don't know, but we're going to need to set up some sort of automation where those get put on a spreadsheet for you.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, we're going to do Jonathan F. real quick here. Jingles. Here's one with a better audio for the 42 executive streak.
42.
Ooh,
yeah,
fun.
nice It's nice. Ooh, Babysitters Club jingle. It's a shorter one.
Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
Very good.
Love it.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
nice. We'll use those for sure. Thank you very much, Jonathan F. Next up, we have Little Owen, who sent a note. One of these songs I did. Oh, wait, is this an old one? See, this is the problem. We've been skipping a couple of these.
All right, we'll make something work. If we have a couple producers we're talking to about administrative stuff, maybe we need to hand over the the administration of these speak pipes.
Well, it is.
My voice is a full lizard here.
It is. There is a process that is redundant that I have to go through every time, so it could be much more streamlined. But here's just a note from Little Owen. One of these songs I did upload on November 29th. Wasn't sure if it went through. Yeah, we'll play the whole thing at the end. Sounds good, as always. Thank you very much, Little Owen. And Caleb came in and we played the clip earlier. It was the clip from the show Leave the World Behind. He had a note, just an audio clip I wanted to share from a recently released film, Leave the World Behind, about an American shattering cyber attack, executive produced by Barack and Michelle Obama. So we played that clip earlier. I don't think we have to necessarily play it again.
No,
but
didn't have to mention it.
Yeah,
It's all good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Caleb. All right, now we do some art.
One art, please.
Take it off with Sir Dove.
One art, please, from Dove.
And Sir Dove's artwork comes with a note. And to know madness and folly, I perceived that he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep brain friends.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Sir Dove. And we've got this beautiful Bible artwork. If you get the email list, you'll have seen this one. Oop, I'm trying to pull it up. Do you have it up on the screen?
It's a little owl in a billboard that is no longer there. It's all ripped up. And it's one of those billboard signs, but there's no sign. It's just all torn apart. There's a sad owl.
Poor little guy. Poor little guy. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Yep, appreciate it. As always. And we'll go back to Caleb here for a second, because Caleb also sent us a bunch of stuff. He says, sorry to diverge from the Canary Birds theme. This is just a thought I've been able to dislodge. And there's let's see, let me get all the Caleb stuff, because he did some duo pictures. There's the science duo. So there's like as you know, the scientists do, holding like a little flask of green substance. And then there's a Basil in the lab with a syringe or some kind of, what are those things called? I don't know what they're called. Drippers. Those big things that you use to put chemicals inside
like
tubes and stuff.
A beaker?
Beaker, yeah, but there's like it's a little thing you suck the whatever substance out of and put it into the beakers.
A pipette.
A pipette. Yes, there you go. Let's see, there's more. So, Caleb here sent in a bunch of stuff.
I'm just going through all of them.
Oh, yeah.
We could just
we
spread
could.
them out.
Yeah, there's also the I forget the lumberjack. Yeah, the lumberjack version, where there's a Basil wearing the red checkered shirt. Some pretty stoked right there with the chainsaw.
Yeah, I've never seen you in lumberjack form. This
I know.
is great.
This is, my beard is more full and longer. I like it. I like this guns. This idealized guns.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much, Caleb. And lastly, we have Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Pandas. I believe this one we are thanking him for the artwork. The little one's running. I think we put on the website. It's a sticker. Yeah. This is one that I sent to my wife. It's got me kind of freaking out in the background, and my children throwing rice around, my son with a sword, and a canary eating rice or something down in the corner. And
it's absolutely perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Sir Dave, during the show, into visual art. So
yes.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. Okay. Microfiction.
Microfiction.
Stefan S. sent us a new microfiction. Or no, we don't. This one's old.
Why don't we do the one from Jones while you look for that?
Okay, here we go. So this is Jones with parts. What is this? 4? Part 3, part 4. Here we go.
The one on her tail slips through the opening, weaving through the offline control panels, the dangling wires and bodies. A query is sent out on Susubi's position. A negative returns along with its own query on the same concern. Negative. The lonely space drama continues. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Jones.
Yes, the one that's there is the microfiction for Stefan S. that we have not done yet. So here we go.
Agent 22 chats. Q. How's the field study of the toddler voice to skull technology? Outstanding. We got the subject to scream, raisins! At will. And then we convinced him to shut down his father's entire computer system midstream of the podcast.
I knew something was up.
Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense. Whoopsie daisies. There's a note here that says do it all in British accents. Sorry, imagine that, but in British accents.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of British. I mean, it was sort of an official guy accent. Thank you very much, Stefan S. And thank you to all the artists coming in with their producers.
Remember, you can, if you got art and talents or not talents, you can create art, create music, jingles, microfigs, whatever you do, make something up. I don't care. And go to canarycry.art, canarycry.art to upload it to our spreadsheet. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? So organized. And that's the way to do it. And it's very sad. If you go to canarycry.art and upload it there, that'll be great. And if you have an article you'd like us to consider for the show, you can go to canarycry.art. And that's it.
It's been a long time coming for this art, and I think it would have been better in context to some stories that we covered over the last week or so. 400 feet underwater off the coast of Antarctica. Raise eyebrows. So this is also an Antarctica update.
So a new discovery in Antarctica.
Penguins.
Roseanne was right. Nephilim right into to Antarctica. It's all there. It says here, TikTok, we'll talk about that, of ancient giants allegedly found in Antarctica. The video that has been making the rounds for several months has been analyzed by several users who have reached a similar conclusion that the supposed sighting is not as a Nephilim or something. Unlike the abnormally large giants resembling ancient humans found in Nevada, whose skeletal remains are no longer displayed, the viral video we are discussing today has gained immense attention for featuring unidentified structures that look eccentric. Let's see here.
It's frozen in time in Antarctica because there's no way I can see any man carving these behemoth giants.
Okay, so this is a TikToker, the Crypto Man Studios, okay? And he's got a video called The Ice Giants of Antarctica, which is featured in this article. And these humongous statues underwater. And just listen to how he describes them.
Look at the way these divers are dwarfed side by side by these behemoths. Now, could these behemoth giants be real under the icy waters of Antarctica? And look at the way the eyes look like they were plucked out of his sockets.
Okay, okay. Now, a couple things. They look like old underwater statues that have all the markings of, rocks or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
they have beards.
I was going to say, they have beards.
Have skeletons.
So yeah, unless stone beard is a thing, the beard would not be there anymore. Wouldn't,
Fossilized.
Yeah. So,
what? So is it conclusive that these statues were found down in Antarctica?
No, I don't think so.
Is any of this conclusive?
I don't think any of it is. But see, this is the point I wanted to get to. The way that people are talking about TikTok has become sort of your stew of sensationalism in a way that it's almost like the stuff we were doing taken to an extreme kind of stuff, where it's all conspiracy stuff, but it's just, I don't know, it's all 1 minute. It's not very deep. You don't see any proof or anything. And this is the kind of analysis that gets a lot of play.
Why would anyone do that to a statue?
Yeah, why would anyone put
what is
the
this
eyeballs
from?
of a statue?
Is this from like a History Channel thing or something?
It's just a TikTok account. I don't know where the footage is from.
Oh,
and
they
so
don't track it down or anything?
No. So here's the thing. The original episode where we had this was the episode Henry Technicus, where we talked about Henry Kissinger and how, you can't trust anything anymore, and da-da-da-da. And it got me thinking, with videos like this out there, where some guys look at the eyes, look like they're plucked out, even though it doesn't. I don't know if this is from video games. Somebody deceit. This age of what is it? My brain is doing a thing. The fake video. What is it called? Deepfake. How come I couldn't think of that? Okay, maybe the laser beams are hitting my brain. In this realm of deepfake, everyone's talking about deepfake, CGI. It's actually the prime moment to release actual footage of stuff, because everyone's skeptical now. Nobody believes anything they see anymore, unless it's like analyzed. Even if it's analyzed like this, most people are going, okay, come on, come on, that looks like a statue at best. Who knows? There's some image that looks like a little diver that's tiny compared to the statue in the water, but who knows where the footage comes from? And that's my point. Who knows? And it's probably the time to actually release real stuff, and we'll see. We'll see if that. How would you even know? If you got one deep, especially these deep fake labs.
How would you even know? Well, you would know because somebody like Tucker Carlson would come out and say, they don't want you to know this, but we've tracked down the source.
Roseanne and Tucker Carlson says it, so it must be true. Is that where we're at now? Alex Jones, Elon, Tate, and those guys. They're all.
It's a wonderful time. A wonderful time for each of us to take personal responsibility in our adherence to sort of alternative narratives.
Yeah.
That's all part of the fifth generational warfare. So more than ever, there comes time. You should always be, aware, but there are times. organized. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but it is a good time for us to examine what's going on around here.
Yeah, it's really an example. It would be very easy to see footage like this and be like,
well, it's fun too.
It is fun, yeah.
It's fun to follow crazy TikTok accounts and see them sort of report on stuff that you're interested in.
Yeah,
that's almost the most difficult part, because there are alternative media where you don't have a whole lot of direct repercussions in your life. And I think for a long time, and I'm towards UFO, for a lot of times, for a lot of time, UFO is all very interesting, bearing on reality, and you can believe or not. It really doesn't matter. There's almost no distinction between it. It was only until it recently became a matter of national security and whether or not you get, whether you belong or don't belong to the in or out group, that it became, a little bit more of a relevant and serious distinction to make. But there can be a bit of an aspect to alternative media, and if your culture is moving in a direction where this can have much more interesting consequences in your life, depending on where you fall.
The LARPing happens on all levels too. You got feds LARPing as patriots too.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So it's
Totally.
all over the place. And it's one of those things that's interesting. The falsely attributed quote to Mahatma Gandhi. You hear this a lot. First they ignore you, then they what was it? Then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then they accept you, or you win, or something like that, right? It's first they ignore you, first then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. That allegedly Gandhi said, which he didn't. He's not the one that originated with that quote. But it's interesting because we are seeing that in a sense with all these alternative topics, if you will, these like fringy topics. It was ignored, and then they laugh when they hear about it, and then they start fighting, right? And then are we at the stage where we win, Basil? We win, Nephilim win.
Yeah, it's like we keep repeating. It's very strange to see the culture.
It's the life cycle, though, and it is a pendulum, and we need to keep our eye on that as well. The pendulum will swing back, and it'll swing back more ferociously the other way.
And as usual, Canary Cry News Talk listeners are ahead of the game, even ahead of Alex Jones in this regard. So keep listening, and we hope you tune in. That's it for us today. I would like to thank our timestampers.
Okay, there we go.
Timestamps, it's hard work.
Yeah, thank you. Timestampers. The timestampers are so helpful to us. They timestamp each and every episode, sometimes live during the show. It not only is helpful for the other listeners who want to go into the shows and find specific stories or comments. Also, we just found a clip that we were looking for, a very important one. We will reveal to you on Wednesday about yet another prediction we made that is explicitly coming true sooner, actually, than expected. And that's all because of the timestampers. So thank you very much, timestampers.
Yeah,
Do we have the timestamps of episode 696?
Jade Bouncer.
Thanks to Jan for the links. Thank you to everybody who sent in some links. Thank you to Clank. Clank helped us out with some stuff, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. He's been busy moving house and such. And long story, I do want to mention, what was I going to mention? Oh, the Canary wants to get the calendar. If you executive, and I want to give a big thanks to Dame Ebony Blaze, who is just so incredible in sort of managing and putting together the Canary Cry calendar, reaching out to all the artists, reaching out to everybody. And so, you know what? Ebony Blaze has just been so incredible that we want to make sure this calendar gets into as many hands as possible. So go executive produce the show for this month, and we'll send it right to you. If you're on the Babysitters Club or the Supply Drop, you will be receiving it. But if if an executive producer desires so, or maybe somebody who's on the Supply Drop, who then executive produces, wants to make it available to sort of a pass it forward program, send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com. Those will be, first come, first serve, limited availability. It's up to the execs at that point. But yeah, just hope to encourage people to keep the show going through the holidays because it means so much. And other than that, share the show, folks. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with the friends of your family, and share it with the reindeer. It's that time of year. The reindeer are on patrol. They're looking for victims around every corner, under every tree. They're coming for you, folks. But you can share the show in whatever way you'd like. You choose your own adventure, whatever talents and interests the Lord has given to you. Perhaps you're part of China's cyber army, and they've got you busy hacking into American organizations and government offices. That is such a slog, isn't it? Don't you just hate it when your boss is on your back about, hey, did you hack the FBI yet? I need that report by Friday. Well, sometimes it's just time to start installing Canary Cry News Talk episodes all over the place, whether it's a meatpacking plant, whether it's a government. Please don't hack the government on our behalf. In fact, maybe don't do this to the government. But, hackers make the world go round, man. And in this 5th generation warfare, perhaps they can find a way to use their talent. And other than that, you can help out the show by going to the Cali Express by Flippy meetup by Basil in Pasadena and really let the world know just how we think about Flippy. I don't know. There's lots of ways to share the show. You can do it however you want. I don't get shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy. Rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me! I'm the last angry man! crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Generation have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
I had a couple tracks from Little Owen here in a moment, and I realized that there was actually tracks that he submitted. We only played part of one. We only played part of one, but I'll play both in just a moment.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Stick around for the Junior Crime mixtape here at the end of the show. Think outside the cage.
Nazi psychopaths. We're all gonna die. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. We're all gonna die.
It will kill. Kill.
It's on the way. They love it. Reality's over. Bye. Go. Bye.
And above all things, and fervent charity. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways my ways, saith the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Who has a in return is not later. Water it may give.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartel.
All right, that was fucking terrible. I was just talking to myself there. I didn't realize I wasn't added, but that was terrible. My apologies. Again, test stream. If you don't see the banner there at the bottom, then that's on you. I appreciate y'all. And I got to get out of here. Definitely got to get a cat cable. Fucking terrible, dude. Absolutely awful. And I mean, yeah, it was me in the sense it was my equipment and whatnot. I don't know. Just fucking terrible. Yeah. Peace, prosperity, and final power. Count it all joy. Life is a gift, as I said there. But the stream quality was ass. So anyway, it's all good. What's new? Yeah, I didn't hear about that. I don't think I heard about that. The UN voted for ceasefire the other day. But we'll see if it amounts to anything, you know? We'll see if it amounts to anything. We're all scared of Israel. Most of the countries. Who's getting angry? Yeah, I don't even have my headphones here either, so I don't know where they're at. Shit. Fuck it. I'm ending anyway. Don't beat yourself up. Yeah, I'm not. I'm blessed, grateful. Everyone can get a full ass. Yeah, true. Very true. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Be well. Peace well. Much love, brothers and sisters. What do I not have a fucking? Oh, I see. Gonna have foot so far up they ass still clear. Fungus on their brain. Yeah, foot fungus all up on their brain. For sure. For sure. I'm gonna finish watching where is it at? Let me see.
I'm back. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna switch this camera because I mean this camera is way better. I mean it's an expensive camera with an expensive lens. So this movie is about cyber incidents. We already know that. We talked about it, and that's what's happening. And the beginning has the Illuminati song, and we're showing you the Illuminati symbolism in the Joey Badass music video. You got the Illuminati eye right there. Bada bing, bada boom, in the beginning of the video. This is why they picked this song. This is why Obama picked this song. Watching this music video is full of Illuminati symbolism, as they're all wearing the black and red robes. He's wearing the red robe, looking like a KKK member or a Bohemian Grove member, the black and red robes. And this is the scene where he says that they think he Illuminati, and they're showing you the Illuminati robes like you see in Eyes Wide Shut or Bohemian Grove, where the Republicans would go to do sus activity, not according to me, according to Nixon. That's what he said. And they all wear the robes. How do you feel that all the world leaders and powerful people dress up in these KKK type robes and worship Moloch, a big owl, a superb owl? As we just showed you, that Friends episode is called the one after the Super Bowl. And that is where they met, 128. That's where Julia Roberts and Matthew Perry met and started dating. Now, KKK even equals 33, like the 33rd degree. And Kanye, most recently, is wearing the same type of hoods and posting the Masonic 33rd degree, the double-headed phoenix, which goes back to the Hittites. If you want to go back in time way farther, a lot of different people used it. What do you think he's using it for? To me, it looks like he's using it for the 33rd degree, which is on Morals and Dogma right there. Double-headed. That's what I think, because you can see a lot of these secret society symbolism all throughout the music industry connected to politicians. The celebrities are who the politicians utilize because they're mystics and they can control the minds and the crowds, and the Illuminati hires them because they're obsessed with power. So even here, look, XXL, the double X, that's, you've been double crossed. That's the Knights Templar, and it's the color coding, the red, white, or black. Red, white, and black is the Templar. And Kanye appeared on the 128 day when this movie was released on Friday, December 8th, promoting this in his black and white video, checkerboards. So the music does play a big role. I think that's interesting that the cyber incidents are happening with a group that's spelled out very similar to the intro of the song, The Revenge. And he is out for blood. He's out for blood. What do you think about that? Because on this channel, we did a lot of video clips. We did the Matthew Perry video clip and it got onto Red Bar. We did a video clip last year saying, why are all these concerts being canceled? And InfoWars picked it up. So we've been all around the place, you know. So if you're new to this channel, we've been here for a minute. The chaotic cinematic MGM casino hack. This just happened not too long ago. And this is quite interesting because Ed Sheeran, he canceled his tour just a minute before he was going to go on stage. And he said, oh, I think the stage is going to fall. That's not why, because the next day, the cyber incidences started happening at the MGM casino. This has all been a big cover-up. 50 Cent canceled his Phoenix tour. His Phoenix concert. He said because of the extreme heat. But is that really why? He wears the double cross a lot too.
Love you too, brother.
Metallica canceled their Phoenix concert all around the same months. I think they were warned that a cyber incident might take place. Taylor Swift concert in Brazil, as we just saw that Brazil lady just was hacked as well. Brazil's first lady X account was hacked. And Brazil is where Trump's mouth is on the eclipse. Because they're telling us what they're doing before they do it in this CC, which is 33, the climate agenda. Taylor Swift concert in Brazil, somebody passed away because of the high heat, and they're blaming it on the CC. If you go to Google, you'll see the CC, the climate action, right down there at the bottom, because this is a big part of the agenda, Agenda 2030.